Alright, good morning there, average gamer. So, this is New World. I decided to go with this one just because, I don't know, I genuinely enjoy this game. I think my biggest complaint, though, is that it's, like most MMOs, not very fun to play by yourself. This one kind of more in particular than others. So, my suggestion, if you're going to try this game, and you're gonna play majority solo, go with the hatchet. Okay, so reason I say that is it has probably one of the best survivabilities. It is definitely fast paced, stronger healing. You know, I mean, it has pretty much everything you would need to get through the game by yourself. That's my personal opinion. Now, you can do whatever you want. That's kind of the beauty of this game, is it lets you pick whatever weapon you want to use. You know, like, you don't have to pick anything special. You know, you're not stuck to anything other than, I guess, the sword and shield at the very beginning of the game. But hopefully, they kind of consider letting people pick more or less what they want to start with, because that's why I didn't like the Elder Scrolls Online, is because of that same similar concept. I mean, I'm sure it's probably changed by now, but at least when it first came around, you were forced into using whatever they gave you in the tutorial zone. And I just don't think that that's cool. You know, I mean, in a game where you're building up experience, or, you know, whatever you want to call skill, with certain weapon types, it's just nicer to get a head start on what you want to do. And I know that not everybody's going to know what they want to do, so that's great, but there still should be an option or a choice, or just kind of like a little rundown of what each does or how it plays, or, you know, just, these are just my thoughts. But the game has crafting, and the crafting in this game is a little more intricate than most, but it's also extremely important. As far as going through the game. I'm going to show you some of that crafting, not a ton of it, because I'm not going to really focus on going to gather anything. Just because it's kind of boring. I mean, obviously. For some people, they might enjoy getting sidetracked like that as they go through and they see this particular mineral or whatever, and so, ooh, piece of candy, let's go grab it. You know, I'm usually like that too, but I try to stay focused, at least for this video, just so you guys can kind of see the game. Yeah, let's just kind of look into this. So, as far as the quests go in this game, the reason that a lot of people do not like it is because at least PvP is still kind of what it feels like their main focus of the game is. So when it was first coming around, it was clearly built to be PvP, and I think that had a lot to do with the developers of the game, that they had grabbed for the project, and it was a lot of like some of your old school, you know, played Age of Camelot, played Warhammer Online and stuff like that. I'm not saying any of those games were bad, but because, you know, I am an average gamer, I'm not going to say I'm the best or great at anything. I tend to focus more on the PvE aspect of things, because PvP does usually require a lot more skill and a lot more dedication, and this game doesn't really have a PvP other than flag yourself, and then, you know, you could occasionally run into somebody outside in the world and fight, other than the high-end stuff, which is... It sounds really cool. It sounds very interesting. I'm not going to lie. Like, I personally think that it could be a lot of fun, but I'm not there yet. You know what I mean? So, the PvE, though, has a lot of focus on, you know, just doing quests, building reputation with the areas that you're at. There are dungeons, and I like them, because they're not conventional. Similar to, in my head, like Elder Scrolls Online was, or is you know, sometimes things are going to get loose and you just kind of got to deal with it. You know, like, you're not always going to be able to stay focused on fighting the one thing that's in front of you, or, you know, run in with the tank and slap a taunt or slap this button and everything comes to you. So it's cool to me. I like that they're not conventional, but I also like that some people might have to focus on themselves and stay alive that way, you know, or personal cooldowns, healing potions, blah, 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 blah. Like, I usually play healers in most games. That's why my two weapons are the hatchet, that's mostly for just going out and doing stuff on my own, and the healing staff. Life staff? Yeah, there we go. So, the life staff is just kind of very similar to, like, the bounty hunter in Star Wars Online. So, you know, once you get so far into the tree, you know, you can just normal attack to heal people, and you also still have your healing abilities. Now, everything does still have a focus with a particular stat. So, it kind of shows you that when you look at the attributes. It shows you what does benefit from what stat. I clearly have not focused on being a healer for this guy because he is my solo guy, but I can heal. So, and that's where focus comes in right here. Once you get to so many points, obviously you see those little blips, and then they do little extra things, which is kind of cool. It's kind of nice. It's just a little benefit, you know. So each weapon has basically their own little tree. And just because you have one doesn't mean you can't go into the other. However, I believe there's only 15 levels to each weapon type. So you do kind of need to focus on what you want. So you got to be a little careful on how you're going to dedicate your points. I went the Berserker for the hatchet because, you know, just there's the Berserk for one lets you run faster, which is huge because there's no mounts, there's no real way to run faster other than staying on the road and with that. So it's kind of nice. It also has a lot of self-healing once you berserk. You know, it's again, solo play, that's your weapon. You can check most guides online will probably tell you the same, at least until this changes. They also have, you know, a throwing tree, which does also wonderful things because, again, you can kind of just stay out of the way. The other one being the life staff that I obviously played around with the spear a lot too. You know, there's this tree, there's one for protection, there's one for healing, and neither one of them are bad. Neither one of them are wrong. You know, you play the way you want. You decide based on what they say that they do. So, now we're going to get into the quest. So, I am a Marauder faction, so I decided to go with them, which, if you look on the map, anything that's green is what my faction owns. Purple is the Syndicate, and I honestly don't remember the yellow, or orange, whatever you want to call that color. And I have no idea how to really go about changing them. Like, I know you can do PvP style quests, you can also do other quests to help gain influence with that faction or your faction in that area to kind of maybe swing it. And then eventually it'll become an invasion and you have a chance to fight it out. And again, that's high level PvP, and it's only for basically max level characters, so that's why I've never really done it. But any town that has the green, you can talk to, you can open your faction board, and these are where you're going to see your quests. So again, in order to do the PvP ones, you have to flag for PvP, which just kind of means anybody else that's flagged can just attack you. I'm not saying that I couldn't do them, I just don't particularly like that, because then it just becomes open world, and most open world PvP just turns into someone that's high level, way better geared, and all this other stuff just kind of comes around and just destroys you. So I kind of just recommend the PvP only when you're playing with friends or kind of higher end. That's just my personal opinion, obviously. But I stick to PvE, and this is where you get your quests. Each of the PvE ones are extremely repetitive. That's what most people's complaint with this game is, and I absolutely understand it. Because the PvE aspect has only kind of sort of recently gotten better, and I think it's going to get better. Like they're still trying, they're still tweaking it. They're kind of just trying to figure out how to do it. I think, considering they kind of again built this game to be PvP oriented. I believe when I was in one of the earlier alphas, that's just how it played, and it's a cool idea on how they've gone about doing this PvE PvP style. But I'm a PvE guy, so I focus on that. That's what I like to do. Even if it's crafting, it's still, I don't know. Sometimes I just don't want to deal with other players, other than in maybe like a dungeon aspect. Sorry, taking a quick drink there. So I think it's getting better. I think they're working on it. There's player housing, which you can do if you enjoy that kind of stuff. There's a lot to this game, but as far as like what most people would consider as an MMO, this is not. It's not a good one for that. Because if this was a subscription, I honestly would not be. I would not be happy. I personally wouldn't be happy. Because there's a lot to do, yes, but there's not much in the aspect of what I like to do, So the dungeons are cool, and I know in the PTR at least, they are working on a system currently that is very similar to, I guess, a Mythic Plus style thing. Kind of like World of Warcraft, and I don't know how to really explain it, but it seemed pretty cool. It's another little just aspect to the game that they're trying to add. I would just like to see more on the PvE endgame, like other raid style things, because they could do that. They just haven't yet. Like they have big, massive PvP battles, so clearly they could figure it out. And maybe they are working on it, and they just haven't gotten there yet. I don't know. But it seems like all your big end stuff is primarily PvP. Now, when I say that, though, there are invasions. Like right here. See, you got the Corrupted coming in. Alright. That is a PvE endgame focus. Sort of. Because it's still done in a style of the PvP. I have not actually done it in the regular game, because I did a majority of the stuff in the alpha. And basically what's going to happen is you can sign up here at the fort to defend, and when you do, it's that. It's a defense style. There's going to be turrets and things like that, or cannons, or whatever, that you can just kind of rain down on people. Well, I guess the Corrupted, which is their version of the PvE. It's a cool idea. I think there's more that needs to happen with the PvE focus. So anyway, I'm gonna do a quick little bit of crafting. It's not gonna be anything super major or cool, but I've got some stuff in my inventory that I need to get rid of. So, lovely little thing is when you're at the towns, you can always pull these up, and you can always see, where the crafting stations are, which is kind of cool. So, as an average, I don't always pay that much attention to where I can keep it locked in my head that, oh, this is where I gotta go. So. Yep, it's that simple. This is just for basic crafting. I'm just refining some stuff. which really just frees up some weight in my inventory. Not have any. Yep, that's what I thought. So flux is something that you can find in chests throughout areas, or you can just craft it and refine it from something else, which is kind of cool. I don't know. I'm just gonna stash it all away then, you know, and I'll just refine whatever I can later. I apparently did not put it in the storage. I instead dropped it on the ground. That is my bad. I don't understand why my storage container's not opening. Let me see if there's another storage shed. Yeah, there is. The other way down. I mean, it's supposed to bring up another window that you can just kind of toss things into there, but maybe the game's kind of tweaking out. I know, not the best to show the game, but let's see what we can see. No, it's still not coming up. Huh. Storage is empty. Okay. I still don't understand why it's not coming up. Maybe it's them. Maybe not. I don't know. That's strange. My character has gotten stuck underneath things before, but, you know. I still have plenty of space, so maybe I'll just continue on. That's really strange. Alright. So I guess we're going to go for some quests. So anytime you see these markers on your map, that just means that it is a quest that you can pick up, and it's usually from a person. So it's kind of cool that you can do specific side stuff, and sometimes it actually has benefit for, you know, things like your camp upgrading, which I personally never use, but I get it for why people want to do that. The camp will help you a lot when you're struggling in an area, and you don't want to have to constantly keep running back from town or whatever, so let's see here. Oop, went too far. Alright, so it looks like I should go down here and then just kind of move along in a circle, and then I'll make it back down to town. That's just what I'm going to do. So. I personally think that in a game that you don't really have any sort of mount or any major way of traveling quicker. I mean, yes, there's, you know, you can fast travel to a particular spot that you've encountered, but that can get expensive pretty quickly because there's a currency that it costs, which isn't hard to get or anything like that. It's just, I don't know. Eventually, you kind of do start to run out. All because you're just trying to save some time, which, again, I understand, because it's one of the largest drawbacks of this game. But still fine. For any of the people that get into this game or ever try it, you know, if you can pick up it on sale, go for it. Because the free-to-play aspect is the only reason why I have not thrown huge fits about this game, you know, and I haven't stopped playing it or anything like that. Like, I personally do see why people do not like this game or have complaints, and they're valid. They are valid complaints. As you just saw with things like that, the storage, I couldn't even store my stuff away before I moved on to coming into, I guess, my questing area. I also think that the quests are very repetitive. I think that even though there's a ton to do, that it's not fun unless you have a friend, you know, because everything's better with a friend anyway. So maybe you shouldn't always judge a game based on that, but that's just me personally. Food buff is extremely important because it helps you with your regeneration rate, so always remember to have that. Oops, on my end. Okay. Logbooks, just looking at them gives you experience, so that's kind of why anytime you see those little things glowing like that, just quickly read it. Let's see here. Gotta go the other way. I don't know if I want to run through the water. That's another thing. Is if you drown, you die. Like it's just that simple. They don't give you that whole it hurts. It hurts quickly. So. But as I was saying, yeah, I could see the valid complaints with this game. I'm a devil's advocate, so I'll always see both sides of things. But in this particular case, I definitely see the bad. I'm not like ignoring it because I genuinely enjoy the game. They're pretty bad sometimes, you know. But it's no different than paying $20 or $40 for a game. I guess is the lowest I've seen this one. $40, not a bad price. And they're not just ignoring the game, you know. It's Amazon Studios, so that's why I get why everybody has that big complaint that, oh man, this should be done way better if it's by such a large company. And as you can see, it's gorgeous. Like, it's not a bad looking game. They did pretty good there, but for me it's not about the way it looks, you know. I just realized that it was people that have made MMOs before, but this is still Amazon's first. So that's the thing that you gotta try to keep in the back of your head as you play this game. You know, it's a no-name, well, it's not no-name, but it's definitely a company that's never made a game before. So thinking of that, and you keep that in your head, it's not bad. They've done a pretty decent job, and they're constantly updating, and they're trying to do more and more with the game. You know, they've added, how many weapons? A couple weapons, I think, maybe one or two. I'm not 100 on that one. But they've added a couple weapons already, so to keep the game fresh and fun. Oh, shit. So that's kind of nice, you know. They are still thinking about expanding, you know, they're still working on this game. It's not just done and over with. But if I was paying a subscription, as I said before, that would not be cool to me. That personally wouldn't be fine with me, because I'm not going to pay a monthly subscription for a game that's not finished. Whereas, you know, paying 40, 50, 60 bucks, whatever I paid, I don't actually remember. Because I didn't get it on sale. It's not a bad price point to me. And it works for my schedule. That's another wonderful thing. So, a schedule of I never know. So. Alright, so usually the quests that you get are bounty, which is killing a named thing. And as you saw, it wasn't exactly difficult. We have plunder, which is you usually have to search chests in the area. Definitely by far one of the ones that I hate the most because they're not always easy to find. And sometimes there are areas that you don't think are there. I know, hard to explain on that one, but I've seen it to where you have to go. Oh, no. You have to go to areas that aren't actually the area in order to get what you need to get. So, again, I'm telling you, this hatchet is the way to go. So there's bounty, plunder, and raid. Raiders usually just kill things, and that is perfectly fine to me. Like, but to constantly do them over and 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 over again, not that cool. Like they're not extremely rewarding on the experience, but you know, as you can see, literally just gathering gives you experience. Is it a ton? No, but every little bit. It at least rewards you for doing it. Which some games don't do, and some games took a while to figure that out. So I'm playing this right now just to show it off. I also think that I think it needs more love than what people have been giving it. But that might be a biased opinion there. I would like to see this game grow. I know it sold decently. Decently, at least. As you can see in the chat, there's tons of people at least still playing. But I think some of the problem with this game is the player-driven community. Because, you know, let's get real, some people are just toxic. It's just what it is. I have not encountered people that have been that kind of thing yet. Just being honest. And I just think that everybody kind of compares most communities to WoW, which I have no idea what caused WoW to become so toxic, but it just did. It just happened. And so now when people think of a community, that's just usually kind of how they go about it, is they just think of it that way. But I have played tons of MMOs, as I've already said, and one of the other ones that I'm playing is Final Fantasy 14, which I like. I've always liked that game. I love that you actually don't have to have multiple characters because of the job class system. Now, sometimes it means starting over, and that's a little annoying, but I don't know. And if you're trying to play the game where you're leveling jobs together, it can also be very difficult. We'll get into that when I start playing Final Fantasy, because at least at the current moment, we'll stay focused on this. I'm only going to reference other stuff because of the fact that, again, I have played. I mean, there's not many I haven't played. You know, I started with EverQuest. I'm almost about to be 32, so I've been around for quite some time, and I've seen a lot of things, a lot of different MMOs. You know, a lot of ancient games I have played, and probably will again. You know, if anybody listening has ever played Populous, the beginning, let's bring that back. You know, let's bring that game back. Whoever, I think Bullfrog Entertainment probably did die out because that was a really long time ago. But if they didn't, please remake that game or remaster that game or something. Because that's an ancient game that I probably will try to figure out how to get working on this computer, but I'll get there. I'll figure it out. I also played a lot of the original Might and Magics. I loved those games. Woo! If you are into the ancient games, that is one you need to play. I think it was 6 that started the trend of the style that I actually enjoyed. But I'm not going to say that the first 5 were bad. I'm not going to say that. They were just a little more dated because of they were clearly designed for DOS or DOS style gameplay. And so once they finally started getting into kind of a 3D aspect, they were good. Oh, they were good. 7 is by far my favorite, and I think most people can agree who've ever played the Might and Magic series. But some people will argue with 8, and I don't disagree with 8. I just think it's different. Like, 8 had a better story, probably. No, that's even debatable, because quite frankly 7 was really good. Really oddly good, but it was good. But 8 started adding in race-style classes, which was really strange. But it was good. There was just the one problem I had with it was once you could start to get the dragons, it's game. You know, dragons could do pretty much everything for you, and that was my complaint with that game. So I actually played several different ways, and I went with trying to make it harder for myself. Which was, I got the dragons to hate me. And that was pretty rough, but made it more interesting. Nah, I know, sorry, most people probably don't care, but just some ancient games to consider trying at some point. Alright, so now I'm in a plunder zone, so I already showed you some of those supply crates and the chests and stuff like that. That's what these quests are like. You have to find them and just get them. Again, not a fan, because they're not always in, like, obvious locations or anything like that, but like, oh look, there's one there, so that's nice. That's nice and simple, but ooh, that dude was starting to hurt. Alright, see? Look, 1. And I need 6. So anytime I mention games or anything by name, I do have to state that, of course, obviously, I am not sponsored by anybody, because clearly I'm not that popular or important, so I just basing things off of my childhood. And if I mention other YouTubers' names, that's going to be the same concept. They're just people I watched when I was bored, or needed a laugh, or I just was really into that thing they were doing. It doesn't really matter. Some of these YouTubers I still watch, but it just depends on who it is. But I'm going to try my best not to really, it's not about promoting them or anything, it's just I don't want anyone to think that that's what it is, or trying to get recognition or anything like that. I'm in this for the fun. I play games anyway, so really all it is I'm just recording it and talking. Not having any real luck finding... Okay, I think that's a chest. And I need 6? Ugh. It's gonna be horrible. So they say that this is Souls-like, but, I mean, obviously it's not entirely. That's probably just a way of describing the combat. Which maybe is accurate. I personally don't think so. It's kind of more like a modern-day hack and slash. Maybe that's actually what it's... Maybe that's just really what Dark Souls is anyway. Which I'm not against playing those games. But given that again, I'm just an average game player, it'd be a little more difficult. Well, at least I know. So, to introduce a couple of the other average gamers, I've got my friend Joe, I've got my friend, we call him Mono, his name is David. It's just because of his voice. It is very much just one tone. And then there's my friend Dan, also known as Tank. Yep, big dude. And occasionally the, Annie, which is Joe's girlfriend. So those are just some of the people that may appear. And I mean, if there was one of us that was actually considered a decent gamer, it's probably gonna be Mono. Mono is probably by far one of the more decent ones. Joe is pretty up there too. He's not bad, and I think me and Dan aren't exactly bad. We're just not. We're not like that, you know. Like I think we take more pride in playing the game and having fun, which is kind of the point. I mean, it's a hobby. If you guys are playing games and, you know, I mean, if your intention is to be a professional and to be the best, cool, go for it. I'm not going to tell you that you can't, because I'm not that good. And I've been playing games my entire life. Well, basically my entire life. There was a point when I was really little that obviously I wasn't really playing good, if you will. But I wasn't intending to, and I never thought that I would ever try to make it a career. This is just me, obviously. So if you guys are in that boat and you think you can do it, go for it. Seriously. I guarantee you that there's not a giant selection of professional gamers that ever thought that they would be professional. I can tell you straight up that, and this is just because I'm calling them out as far as people that I watch, Game Grumps. I mean, I know that they've been playing games for a long time. I know that they've had their channel for a really long time, but, you know, Aaron's pretty decent, and I know Danny is too, but, I mean, to an extent. I guarantee you, if you had asked Danny that if he was ever to think of being a professional gamer, he would never have said that was something he probably could have pulled off. And are they really professional gamers? Probably not really. They just have a YouTube channel where they play games and get paid for it. So in all technicality, I would say that yes, they are professionals. Yeah, straight up. So I know, though, that that was never what they really thought was going to happen. I'm glad that they went for it, and I'm glad that it worked out. But, you know, just, there's not a whole lot of people that were probably just like, oh, no, dude, I'm going to play games for the rest of my life, and I'm just going to get paid to do it, and I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to do all these tournaments and stuff like that. Like, maybe 15 years ago, if you would have asked me if I wanted to, you know, start doing tournaments for, like, GoldenEye, oh, yeah, maybe. Maybe I could have pulled that off. But I surely could not do that now. And I know that that was never going to be the route that I wanted to go. And I guess the best way to describe that is just like, this is my pastime, this is my hobby, this is something I enjoy. So if I took this away in that capacity, then I don't think, I don't know, that would suck, you know? You take your hobby and then you try to be something really good at it, and even if you succeed, you know, your attitude towards it has to change, you know, because you've got to take it more serious. You've got to, you know, do things along that nature, and I don't know if I wanted to do that. Like, I don't want this to become more serious, and I don't know. That's just, again, I'm just talking about myself, so just for people to listen, or not, whatever. But consider that, you know, when you guys do go that route, if you go that route. Because in this day and age, is it impossible for people to get recognition and to do things that they never thought that they could do? I personally think that in order to make a difference for yourself, you've got to do it for yourself. You know, is it always going to be... Is it always going to pan out the way you thought? No, probably not. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging to get where you want to be. But you've got to do it for yourself. You know, no one's going to do it for you. I mean, even if you were, you know, come from a family of, I don't know, billionaires, like, that's great, but, you know, what do you want to do with your life? If you just want to be a billionaire, cool. Be a billionaire, I guess. Good for you, but, like, if you wanted to be a doctor, well, you gotta go to school. You gotta get certified to be a doctor. You've got so much work ahead of you that you've got to do for yourself, because no one else is going to do it for you. That's just not how that works. You know, but kind of like this. You want to be a professional gamer? Cool. But, you know, you're not going to just become one overnight. You still got to do all the work. You've got to be doing this kind of stuff. You got to do live streams. You've got to do, you know, you got to get your name out there somehow. So there are gaming tournaments that constantly go on. There you go. You know, you've got to get yourself signed up and ready for it. It's not just going to happen. You know, you've got to make it happen. And I think everybody's capable of doing it. But becoming a professional, is everyone going to become a professional just because they say they want to be a professional? No, definitely not. Not everybody has that capacity. I'm one of them. I'm being honest with you and myself. I don't have that ability because I'm just not that good. But can you get better? Yeah, you got to practice. You gotta get out there. You got to play against others that you've never played against. You know, you can't just always keep playing with the same people because they're gonna have the same skill set as you, you know, or it's always gonna be that same skill set, you know, like if I wanted to get better, you know, at something, then I decide I want to go play, I don't even know. We'll say, what's a big one out there? Like Call of Duty. Alright, so if I wanted to get better, I would just research who's better. You know, I'd start with my friend group, and then I'd start moving into maybe some of the other friend groups and friends of friends, you know, like, just kind of start moving up the ladder, and whoever is considered the best out of all of us, you know, just keep working on trying to beat them until eventually you can do that. Then you keep moving up, you know, start looking into, I guess, YouTubers or streamers and seeing if they're playing. Maybe try to join into their games, and, you know, it's a process, obviously. These are just my thoughts. Maybe ways that others could hit that thing that is a little more challenging for others. But there's always ways that you can grow as an individual. So it's just a matter of how you want to do it and what that means to you. Sorry, I'm a little focused because, yep, I see that that's going to be a nasty fight. Ooh. Okay. Well, that happens. And so this is what I meant by you can slap a camp down and you might not always have to run all the way back. See, this is some of the goofy parts of this game. I mean, I don't know why it's sending me way over here. Alright. When I've clearly been to the settlement, I started here, and it's telling me that this is where... I can't go here, because, you know, I haven't seen it or been to it. I don't know. The game's got some weird mechanics. Oh, now it's telling me I can't. I don't understand it. Sorry about that. Alright, so anytime that you're trying to heal, you can actually do this and hit the left control and cast it on yourself. That's what I was trying to do, but clearly didn't get to it in time. But we are gonna finish this mission because I had finally found the last chest. They were higher level than me, and you know, this is kind of why it's important to keep upgrading your gear. There's three different armor types. Yeah, it's light, medium, and heavy. I tend to keep myself in the medium side of things, but it's all about the stats too. So, you know, does armor make a big difference? Can. But I think it's more about the health, which, if I remember correctly, I am lacking pretty bad. Another wonderful little thing about this game is it does keep track of where you died, just in case you're trying to get back somewhere. Yeah, there is a block in this game, by the way. It's just, I don't know why I don't really use it that much. But just so people don't scream, "Oh, why aren't you blocking?" You know. Yeah, I know. You can. I just, for some reason, don't. And there we go. See? Leveled that hatch again. Probably something I should have gotten earlier. Anytime you're out of combat and you eat food, you get a quick little 20-second regen. Actually, I think you can do it in combat. Just getting hit removes it, so... Okay. And that is the last chest. So I literally told you guys that running on roads or paths makes you run quicker. It was their way of incentivizing people to stay on the path. So again, I'm aware of it. No need to yell or scream. Gonna turn these quests in and probably call it for now. Wait, did I not get the last chest? Son of a... Okay. I officially hate this quest. Again, that's why I'm not a big fan of the plunders. I don't know why I picked it up, but maybe it was just a way to show all the different styles that are going on in the game. Occasionally you'll just get renown and does a couple different things here. So there's you can increase the gathering speed in the area, you can reduce the fee at the stations, which honestly isn't that giant to begin with, or you can increase your territory standing reputation gain. I usually go with gathering speed because, I don't know, it sometimes takes a while. Wow, I can't believe I didn't realize. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I'm average. I also did not realize that this video is currently about an hour long, so that's kind of a lot. Especially from one of my first videos. I was kind of just trying to show the game off, you know, just let everybody see it for what it is. Again, this is my new rig, which did cost a pretty penny, not gonna lie. But this is a 3070 in action, and it's got all the settings on high. So I don't know what that actually means, but it seems to be looking pretty decent. Seems to be. I think the only thing that is really lacking is probably storage, which You know, I'll eventually upgrade at some point. Oh, of course. But, you know, it's 8-core AMD. I don't remember what exactly it is. But it is a 3070 graphics, 64 RAM. So, I mean, it shouldn't have any real issues there either. You know what I mean? Doesn't have a disk drive. Do they just stop doing that? You just don't get disk drives anymore? Which is fine, because nothing really has a disk anymore, but I remember one of the last computers I got, major reason I got it is because it had a Blu-ray disc drive in it, and I don't know, just nice to have. Don't know why, but it was nice to have. So here we are, now that I've officially completed all of the quests that I had. Just talk to the person and all your quests should show up as completed. It tells you what you get for doing it. And there you go. That is more or less the repeatable style things to do in this game. Again, I think it's a decent game. You guys have seen at least a little bit. I'd love to show a dungeon at some point, but again, I'm just kind of showing off the game for what it can be. And I'll eventually probably make a video on some of the dungeons, or me playing with my friend, or something. You know, I'll probably end up getting to that point. It's just at the moment, I don't know. I don't have a schedule that I'm really trying to do. I'm not really focused on anything particular, and I play tons of different styles of games, especially when it comes to playing with friends, because honestly, you know, it's all about having fun with friends. So yeah, maybe you don't have 100% time to dedicate to playing with friends, you know, just like I don't, but you know, if you guys aren't in this for the fun, then I hope that you learn to get to the point where you want to. You know, I wish everyone the best, but that's all I got for now. So you guys have a good day, and for the next time, it'll probably be Final Fantasy. I'm telling you, I'm really into the Final Fantasy right now, and it's a subscription game, so that kind of comes back to that whole, you know, I'm paying for it, so I want to play it. But for now, you know, good luck, and I'll see all the average gamers later.